Matt O'Reilly, Keith.
Yeah.
This time last year, we were talking about him. Best part of £30 million going to Brighton and Hove Albion. It's not really worked out for him. And news today from Transfer Guru, although not on your level, Burnsy, but Fabrizio Romano saying that he has information that he could be off this summer. I mean, obviously, Celtic might have a sell-on clause. I think it's around 10%. But just generally, I'm kind of surprised that it's not worked out better for him.
Well, I'd need to, Bunsey can maybe he can shed some light on it, but I would imagine the sell-on clause will be 10% of any profit, and I wouldn't expect Brighton to turn any money on that transfer. It feels more like one, if Matt O'Reilly is moving on, that they're cutting the losses on it. I don't think they'll recoup the money that they spent. And it's a shame, a really talented football player, injured in his first game. It's really obviously a hammer blow to him, and it stopped his what seemed to be the natural progression for him. You hope with a guy as talented as him that it's only a bump in the road this season. You would think if you were Brighton, you'd want to see the fully fit version of him next season, given that you've not been able to see that so far, and you did think that the Jamestown Analytics again clearly identified him as a player of significant talent. You would like to think that Matt O'Reilly might get a chance to show next season, what Brighton missed this season. But obviously, if Brighton have made a decision and they think that it might be time for a partner of the ways, I think that's a bit unfortunate. But I would fully expect him to, whether it's Brighton or whatever else, once he's fully fit, pre-season under his belt, Matt O'Reilly's a right good player, and he's a Premier League class player, so I would expect to see him operating there.
What do you think, Burnsy? Do you think he'll kind of knuckle down and make sure he succeeds at Brighton, or do you think he could be off this summer?
I think whatever happens, there's going to be interest in Matt O'Reilly. You know what I mean? We've seen what he's done previously at Celtic. There was quite a lot of interest before he went to Brighton. I thought some of that interest has remained. I think the key for is that it comes down to Matt O'Reilly. Does he believe that he's going to get a chance to play at Brighton every week? If he does, I think he'll remain there. If he's got doubts and doesn't believe he'll become a first choice there, then I think he will be the one that makes the decision and says, look, I want to cut my losses, I want to go and play. I need to be playing regularly every week at the highest level I can to try and keep myself in that Danish squad. I think that's the bottom line. I think the boy is ambitious, you know what I mean? And he knows what he's doing. He's got a plan for himself, and I think he'll be looking for the best way for his career to progress, whether that's at Brighton or out with. But I said it all depends on him playing football. That's the bottom line, especially after this season.
I think there'll be interest, Bunsy, because the sort of databases that the clubs are using these days. He was identified before he went to Celtic. His name was popping up in the computers at places like Liverpool. As a guy that has a real big future in front of him. Now, Liverpool don't automatically go down that road. Liverpool are one of these clubs that actually they identify people that they think have a real chance, but then they prefer to see them playing in the English Premier League, be that a Southampton or a whatever. And then once they've watched that and seen how the guy adapts to Premier League football, then they don't mind paying a premium. And, where somebody's picking Matt O'Reilly or whoever up for £10 million, Liverpool don't mind paying the 50. But I'm just using Liverpool as an example, but I think they were one of several big Premiership clubs whose database were pointing them in the direction of Matt O'Reilly before Matt O'Reilly went to Celtic. So you would think that his name is on the file for a number of recruitment departments around the English Premier League. I'd like to see it work for him because when he was at the top of his game at Celtic, operating in the Champions League, he looked as if he was destined to play at a really high level.
He's a brilliant player, no doubt about it. Look, before we move on for this, very quickly, a lot of comments saying back at Celtic next season. I can't see that. Can you guys?
I don't think they can do a Kieran Tierney with this one.
Nah, can't see it.
Well, depends how much a sell-on they get from Frimpong.
Well, there's a comment there. I think Celtic could be getting the best part of £10 million if they both go. In sell-ons this summer.
But no, I still don't see Matt O'Reilly coming back at that. I was jesting, but it looks like they could get a fair bit of money back from that Frimpong sell-on.
Jeez, money goes to money.